Our journey begins in the 5th millennium BCE, when humans slowly shift from wandering hunter-gatherers to settled farmers. Imagine the southern Mesopotamian plains stretching softly before you, flat yet fertile, cradled gently between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. The rivers flow languidly, reflecting the pale morning light, while reeds sway and ripple along their banks. This land, rich with silt and water, will quietly nurture the seeds of civilization, shaping the first human settlements. In these earliest communities, homes cluster together in modest arrangements. Mud brick walls rise low and flat, their earthy tones blending with the surrounding fields. Roofs are layered with reed mats, absorbing the warmth of the sun and cooling the interiors. Families live closely together, their lives intertwined in routines of care, work, and gentle companionship. Within these simple dwellings, women grind grain into flour, children play quietly in shaded courtyards, and men tend to fields of wheat and barley, their hands soft from tilling the soil. Chickens and goats wander the narrow paths, mingling with the villagers in a peaceful, harmonious rhythm. The faint aroma of wet clay, baked bricks, and ripening crops fills the air, a grounding scent that marks the birth of human ingenuity. Agriculture becomes the quiet force that transforms life in subtle but profound ways. People learn the art of planting in cycles, understanding the rhythm of the seasons and the careful timing of floods. Irrigation channels are dug painstakingly, allowing water from the rivers to reach fields that would otherwise remain dry. Barley and wheat sway gently in the breeze, their green stalks whispering stories of growth and patience. Date palms rise gracefully in small groves, while flax and reeds provide materials for cloth, rope, and mats. Farmers work in quiet synchronization, their movements soft yet purposeful, a human echo of the river's gentle flow. This intimate relationship with the land forms the foundation of Sumerian life, a dialogue of care, observation, and careful stewardship. As villages grow, social complexity follows naturally. Leaders emerge, chosen to organize labor, manage resources, and settle disputes. Priests assume a central role, serving as intermediaries between humans and gods. They interpret omens, oversee rituals, and maintain the order necessary for these early societies to flourish. Religion, governance, and daily life intertwine seamlessly, creating a gentle rhythm that guides both work and worship. Life is neither hurried nor chaotic. Rather, it moves with a soft cadence, each action part of a larger, interconnected whole. By 400 BCE, Uruk begins to blossom into a true urban center. Imagine strolling along its winding streets, where mud brick houses line narrow lanes, each structure unique yet harmonious with its neighbors. The city hums with subtle activity. Merchants arrange clay pots and woven baskets, artisans shape intricate jewelry, and children chase small animals through the alleyways. Women carry water from wells, their steps quiet yet deliberate, while men return from the fields, the soft thud of sandals on clay echoing gently. The marketplace offers a subdued symphony of sounds, the scrape of pottery, the rustle of textiles, the low murmur of bargaining. At the heart of Uruk rises the majestic ziggurat of Anu, a stepped temple reaching toward the heavens. This monumental structure is more than a building. It is the soul of the city where devotion, power, and artistry converge. From its terraces, priests observe the stars, tracking celestial patterns that inform planting and religious ceremonies alike. Festivals here are gentle celebrations, with lyres and flutes filling the air with melodic harmony, while offerings of grain, oil, and incense rise like a soft perfume to the sky. The ziggurat embodies both earthly order and spiritual aspiration, anchoring the city in its delicate balance of human and divine. Uruk is also the cradle of writing. Cuneiform, the earliest known script, begins as a system to track transactions, grain, livestock, and labor carefully recorded on soft clay tablets. Imagine the quiet scratch of a reed stylus pressing symbols into clay, each wedge-shaped mark a whisper from the past. Over time, writing expands beyond commerce, capturing myths, laws, and poetry. The first stories of kings and gods take shape in these marks, a gentle but enduring bridge across millennia. Through cuneiform, the Sumerians begin to document their world, reflecting on human experience with both precision and subtle imagination. Trade begins to weave the first threads of a wider world. Boats drift lazily along canals and rivers, carrying goods to distant lands. Sumerians exchange barley, textiles, and pottery for copper from Anatolia, timber from distant forests, and lapis lazuli from faraway mountains. Trade is not rushed or aggressive. It flows with care and negotiation, often framed by ritual and prayer. Weights are measured, agreements recorded, and small offerings made to the gods for protection and prosperity. The river itself becomes a quiet partner in this endeavor, carrying boats gently downstream, linking communities in slow, rhythmic commerce. Daily life in Sumer balances labor with gentle reflection. Meals often consist of bread, porridge, dates, and occasionally fish or meat, shared quietly in family courtyards. Children learn through observation and play, gradually mastering skills like weaving, pottery, and accounting. Women oversee domestic production and sometimes participate in religious or administrative duties, their work vital to the community. Men farm, craft, and occasionally defend the city, yet all activity is harmonized by the soft cadence of daily life, the rising and setting sun, and the subtle cycles of nature. Religion permeates every aspect of existence. Temples are not only places of worship but also centers of administration, education, and community. Priests maintain records, manage irrigation, and guide public life. Festivals and rituals mark the passage of seasons and honor the gods, with music, dance, and poetry accompanying quiet observances. Even simple acts, a small offering of grain, the lighting of a lamp, or a whispered prayer, reflect a profound sense of connection to both community and cosmos. Innovation quietly shapes the Sumerian world. The wheel, first used in pottery, eventually transforms transport and trade. Bronze tools appear gradually, improving efficiency and craftsmanship. Cylinder seals, delicately engraved, serve as signatures and objects of art. Each seal tells a story, capturing symbols of gods, animals, or heroic deeds, offering a private glimpse into the Sumerian imagination. These inventions, though modest in appearance, carry enduring significance, like soft ripples on a quiet pond. The rise of city-states introduces both opportunity and challenge. Ur, Lagash, and Eridu develop distinct identities, each with its own traditions, patron deities, and leadership. Kings, or Lugal, consolidate power slowly, drawing authority from military, religious, or administrative accomplishments. Disputes arise over land, water, or trade, yet these conflicts are tempered by ritual, negotiation, and shared social norms. Even tension is expressed in ways that maintain the overall balance of life, reflecting a society that values harmony and continuity. As dusk settles over Uruk, the city slows into a gentle hush. Fires illuminate homes and streets with a warm, flickering glow. Families gather to share stories of gods and heroes, recounting lessons and histories with calm voices. Children listen with rapt attention, absorbing wisdom and imagination. Above, the stars emerge slowly, twinkling in patterns that have guided Sumerians for generations. The ziggurat stands tall against the twilight sky, a silent witness to the unfolding story of human endeavor. The river murmurs softly nearby, its flow a constant reminder of life's gentle, enduring rhythm. In this quiet moment, allow your mind to wander through these streets and homes. Feel the smooth texture of mud brick beneath your hands, hear the soft murmur of conversation, and watch the flickering light as evening falls. The Sumerian world is alive yet serene, a delicate blend of labor, devotion, and imagination. Each small act contributes to the unfolding story of civilization, rising gently in harmony with the rivers, fields, and skies. As you drift in your own space, imagine the soft pulse of this early civilization. The rhythm of planting and harvesting, the quiet hum of trade and craft, and the serene devotion to gods and community create a tapestry of life both simple and profound. Let this vision of Uruk and its people, of rivers and mud brick walls, of ziggurats reaching skyward and fields stretching to the horizon, cradle your thoughts and carry you gently into the next chapter, where kings, conflicts, and new cities await, unfolding like a whispered story beneath the stars. As we drift through the centuries following the birth of Sumerian cities, we enter a period of increasing complexity and organization. Villages that once depended solely on communal cooperation begin to grow into distinct city-states. Each city, like Uruk, Lagash, and Eridu, develops its own identity, its own patron deity, and its own governing structures. The once quiet rhythm of agricultural life now intertwines with the subtle pulse of political authority. City-states are more than geographic entities, they are living communities with a consciousness of themselves. Imagine the walls of Uruk or Lagash, low at first but gradually rising in height, enclosing neighborhoods, marketplaces, and temples. These mud-brick fortifications mark both security and civic pride. Within them, streets meander gently, bordered by homes and workshops, canals running alongside to bring water and commerce into the heart of urban life. Life within these walls is a soft hum of activity, blending work, worship, and social interaction in harmonious patterns. With the rise of city-states comes the emergence of kings or lugal, meaning great man. These early rulers often derive authority from a combination of religious sanction, military leadership, and administrative skill. Imagine a king of Uruk, sitting calmly in a courtyard shaded by date palms, observing the flow of trade and the cultivation of fields beyond the city walls. His role is not only to command armies but also to maintain harmony within the city, oversee temple construction, and ensure the proper distribution of resources. His presence is felt quietly, like the slow, steady current of the rivers that nourish the land. Priests and temple officials continue to hold significant influence, often guiding or advising kings. The intertwining of religious and political power creates a gentle but pervasive order, where the divine and the civic coalesce. Temples serve not only as places of worship but also as administrative centers, managing the storage and distribution of grain, overseeing irrigation projects, and keeping meticulous records on clay tablets. These records, written in cuneiform, track contributions, offerings, and labor, ensuring that both human and divine expectations are met with care. Trade, now more organized and far-reaching, knits city-states together in a delicate network. Boats glide slowly along canals and rivers, carrying pottery, grain, and textiles to distant regions. Merchants record transactions with soft precision, ensuring fairness and accountability. Exotic goods, such as copper from Anatolia or lapis lazuli from Afghanistan, arrive quietly but with significance, enriching Sumerian life both materially and culturally. Even conflict over resources often follows structured protocols, with disputes mediated through councils, rituals, or treaties. Life is both competitive and cooperative, balanced in a rhythm that sustains the city-states. Military organization emerges gently as well. While early kings must defend their territories from rivals, warfare is rarely constant. It punctuates periods of prosperity rather than defining them. Armies are small and disciplined, moving with careful strategy rather than chaos. Fortifications and walls provide security, yet the true strength of the city-states lies in coordination, administration, and cooperation rather than sheer force. Even the act of defending one's city is framed by ritual, prayer, and communal effort, ensuring that violence is tempered by reflection and restraint. Daily life continues its tranquil rhythm. Markets bustle with measured energy, artisans create pottery and jewelry with patience, and farmers work fields irrigated by gentle canals. Children learn through observation and repetition, gradually mastering the skills necessary to maintain their communities. Women, central to the household and often involved in trade, weave textiles, prepare meals, and manage domestic affairs. Life is a soft balance of labor, leisure, and devotion, where every action from baking bread to offering prayers at the temple contributes to the smooth functioning of the city-state. Education and literacy expand alongside administration. Scribes, trained in the precise art of cuneiform, become essential to the governance of cities. They document laws, record economic transactions, and preserve myths and stories for future generations. The Epic of Gilgamesh, for example, emerges in this context, a gentle narrative of kingship, mortality, and the pursuit of understanding. Imagine the soft scratching of a stylus in clay, capturing thoughts that will echo across millennia, each impression a whisper of human reflection. Religion remains deeply intertwined with governance. Each city-state venerates its own patron deity, a god or goddess who embodies the city's spirit and guides its people. In Uruk, the moon god Nana holds sway. In Lagash, the storm god Enlil commands attention. Daily rituals, seasonal festivals, and offerings ensure the favor of these divine beings, their presence subtly shaping every aspect of life. Music, incense, and soft chants accompany these ceremonies, filling the air with a calm sense of devotion and continuity. Social hierarchies become more defined. Kings and priests occupy the upper strata, artisans and merchants form a middle class, and farmers, laborers, and servants sustain the essential work of the city. Yet this hierarchy is often flexible, with opportunities for individuals to rise through skill, service, or divine favor. The structure is not oppressive but organized, creating a gentle order that allows both the city and its people to flourish. Architecture flourishes quietly, blending utility with aesthetic sensitivity. Homes are simple but thoughtful, courtyards providing private spaces of calm, and walls adorned with subtle reliefs or inscriptions. Temples and ziggurats dominate the skyline, monumental yet integrated with the urban fabric. Streets follow practical layouts, but with a soft logic that reflects the flow of water, the rise of the sun, and the rhythms of daily life. Even in public spaces, gardens, fountains, and small shrines create moments of quiet reflection and beauty. The concept of law begins to take shape. Early codes, such as those attributed to Ur-Nammu, provide guidance on justice, trade, and social conduct. These laws are written to protect both property and community, emphasizing fairness, restitution, and order. Imagine the soft deliberation in a council chamber, the careful recitation of rules, and the gentle application of justice. These early legal frameworks are not rigid instruments of punishment but subtle guides for harmonious coexistence. Art and culture expand alongside governance and daily life. Sculpture, painting, and pottery convey both aesthetic pleasure and narrative meaning. Cylinder seals, engraved with miniature scenes, serve as personal and official signatures, telling stories of gods, kings, and daily life. Music continues to accompany rituals and social gatherings, with lyres, flutes, and percussion instruments providing a calming and melodic backdrop to both work and worship. As night falls over Sumerian city-states, the pace of life softens. Fires illuminate homes and streets with a gentle glow, and families gather in courtyards to share meals, stories, and quiet reflection. Children listen intently as elders recount tales of kings, gods, and heroes. The stars shine brightly over ziggurats and city walls, guiding both thought and action. Rivers murmur softly nearby, their continuous flow a calming presence that underscores the enduring rhythm of life. In these quiet hours, imagine yourself walking through the streets of Uruk or Lagash, feeling the cool clay beneath your feet, hearing the soft rustle of reeds, and smelling the faint aroma of baked clay and fresh grain. The Sumerian world is alive yet serene, a delicate balance of labor, devotion, and imagination. Kings rule with gentle authority, priests maintain harmony, and ordinary people sustain the city through their daily rhythms. Each life, each action, contributes to the ongoing story of civilization, quietly shaping the future. As you drift in your own space, let the subtle currents of Sumerian city-states guide your mind. Feel the soft order of daily life, the gentle authority of kings, the devotion to gods, and the slow unfolding of culture. Imagine the bustling marketplaces, the quiet courtyards, the monumental ziggurats, and the calm, flowing rivers. Allow these images to settle into your thoughts, creating a gentle rhythm that carries you into restful contemplation, preparing you for the next chapter, where the artistry, warfare, and resilience of Sumerian society continue to unfold. As we drift further into the heart of Sumerian civilization, we encounter a society defined not only by its cities and kings but also by its vibrant culture, intricate religious life, and the quiet routines of daily existence. Imagine the soft murmur of life along a canal in Uruk, the gentle shimmer of the sun reflecting on calm waters, and the slow rhythm of people moving through streets lined with mud brick homes. Here, culture and devotion intertwine seamlessly, creating a world where human creativity and spiritual contemplation coexist in gentle harmony. Religion is central to Sumerian life, threading through the everyday with subtle yet profound presence. Each city-state honors its own patron deity, whose influence extends to governance, agriculture, and personal conduct. In Uar, the moon god Nana guides the cycles of the night sky. In Lagash, Enlil, lord of wind and storms, commands reverence. Temples and ziggurats dominate the cityscape, their layered steps rising toward the heavens, providing not only sacred spaces but also centers of education, administration, and commerce. Imagine priests moving quietly through these temples, performing rituals with meticulous care, offering grain and incense, and reading omens from the stars and the flight of birds. These acts of devotion are gentle and methodical, shaping both the spiritual and social life of the city. Daily life in Sumer is structured yet gentle, flowing with the natural cycles of work and rest. Farmers rise with the sun, guiding oxen through soft, irrigated fields. The earth yields barley, wheat, flax, and dates, nourished by careful attention to canals and seasonal floods. Fishermen glide along the rivers in small reed boats, nets trailing silently in the current, while women manage household gardens, grind grain, and weave fine textiles from flax fibers. Children learn skills by observing and assisting their elders, gradually mastering the arts of pottery, weaving, and simple accounting. Every day, the rhythm of labor and care sustains both family and city, quiet and unhurried, like the slow, persistent flow of the Tigris and Euphrates. Sumerians are remarkable for their innovations, subtle yet transformative. Writing, in the form of cuneiform, evolves from simple accounting into a complex system capable of capturing myths, laws, and literature. Clay tablets, carefully inscribed with wedge-shaped marks, preserve human thought across generations. Imagine the soft scraping of a reed stylus as it leaves its impressions on wet clay, creating a bridge between the fleeting present and the enduring past. The Epic of Gilgamesh, emerging from this written tradition, reflects profound reflections on life, mortality, friendship, and the search for meaning, a quiet meditation in literary form. Art and craftsmanship are equally central to Sumerian culture. Cylinder seals, small engraved stones rolled across clay, are both functional and expressive, marking ownership while telling miniature stories of gods, humans, and animals. Pottery is both practical and ornamental, shaped on wheels and painted with subtle motifs inspired by nature and myth. Sculptors carve statues of deities, kings, and revered citizens with calm precision, their forms reflecting ideals of beauty, power, and reverence. Even architecture demonstrates careful aesthetic sensibility, from the gently sloping walls of homes to the monumental grandeur of ziggurats and palaces. Every creation, whether small or grand, reflects an enduring respect for balance, harmony, and purpose. Music is another gentle thread woven through Sumerian life. Lyres, flutes, drums, and other instruments accompany both ritual and daily activity, filling the air with soft melodies. During festivals, voices blend with music, creating quiet communal celebrations that honor gods, seasons, and life itself. Dance, often simple and measured, accompanies these performances, reinforcing the sense of rhythm and harmony inherent in the culture. Even outside formal ceremonies, music drifts through homes and marketplaces, a gentle reminder of beauty and connection in everyday life. Education and record-keeping are subtly integrated into Sumerian society. Young scribes train in temple schools, learning the careful techniques of cuneiform. They copy economic records, legal codes, and literary texts, mastering both precision and patience. These scribes become the keepers of memory, preserving knowledge and culture across generations. Imagine the calm concentration of a student pressing stylus to clay, aware that each mark is a quiet contribution to the continuity of civilization. Through this process, knowledge is not only recorded but cultivated, a gentle shaping of minds in tandem with the growth of the city itself. Sumerian religion also inspires the first glimpses of cosmology. Priests and astronomers observe the heavens, recording the movement of stars, the phases of the moon, and the cycles of planets. These observations guide agricultural planning, religious festivals, and civic life. Nightly stargazing is both practical and meditative, fostering a deep sense of connection between humans and the universe. It is easy to imagine standing quietly on a ziggurat terrace, watching the soft silver arc of the moon, the distant glimmer of stars, and feeling the gentle reassurance of the divine order reflected in the sky. Commerce and trade, though quietly conducted, are essential to cultural richness. Markets bustle with artisans, farmers, and merchants offering grain, pottery, cloth, and metalwork. Trade networks stretch far beyond Sumer, bringing copper, tin, lapis lazuli, and timber from distant lands. Each transaction, though simple in appearance, contributes to a slow and steady expansion of knowledge, taste, and craftsmanship. Even the act of trading is imbued with ritual and social norms. Weights and measures are carefully observed, agreements recorded in cuneiform, and the favor of God sought for prosperous outcomes. Social life is marked by harmony and careful structure. Families provide the core of Sumerian society, yet community interactions extend beyond households to workshops, temples, and marketplaces. Marriage, inheritance, and family obligations are framed by both custom and law, creating a gentle network of social order. Festivals, feasts, and religious observances punctuate the year, allowing for reflection, joy, and communal bonding. Life, though labor-intensive, is balanced by moments of celebration, contemplation, and artistic expression. As evening descends over Sumerian cities, life slows in a gentle cadence. Fires flicker within homes, casting soft shadows on walls and courtyards. Families gather for meals of bread, porridge, dates, and fish, sharing stories and quietly reflecting on the day. Children listen with rapt attention to tales of gods and heroes, absorbing the lessons of morality, courage, and creativity. The streets, once lively, now hold a tranquil hush, punctuated by the distant flow of rivers and the occasional soft bark of a dog. The ziggurats, illuminated by the glow of lamps, stand as serene guardians over the city, their tiered steps silhouetted against the starry night. In this calm atmosphere, imagine walking through the city streets, feeling the warm clay beneath your feet, hearing the soft rustle of reeds in gardens, and smelling the faint aroma of fresh-baked bread and clay. Observe the quiet dedication of artisans at work, the solemnity of priests performing evening rituals, and the peaceful domestic routines of families. The Sumerian world is alive with gentle activity, yet it carries a quiet serenity, a rhythm that mirrors the flow of water in canals and the cycles of the moon. Even within this early civilization, the interplay of culture, religion, and daily life demonstrates a remarkable sophistication. Each element, art, music, education, trade, ritual, is carefully balanced with the others, creating a society that is resilient, creative, and contemplative. As you drift in your own space, allow the gentle pulse of Sumerian life to soothe your mind. Picture the softly flowing rivers, the humble yet enduring homes, the glowing lamps, and the towering ziggurats reaching skyward. Let the quiet harmony of culture and devotion guide your thoughts toward rest, carrying you gently into the next chapter, where the achievements, conflicts, and legacies of Sumerian society continue to unfold like a whispered story beneath the stars. As we drift further through the centuries of Sumerian history, we enter a period marked by the rise of powerful kings, occasional conflicts between city-states, and the steady expansion of trade and culture. Imagine the landscape stretching between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, soft and fertile, dotted with cities that have grown larger and more complex over generations. Canals weave through fields and neighborhoods, carrying water to nourish crops and create gentle reflective surfaces that mirror the sky. Life in Sumer flows quietly, yet beneath the calm surface, political and social forces shape the unfolding story of civilization. The city-states, once small and closely knit, now begin to assert influence over their neighbors. Kings, or lugul, emerge as central figures, their authority often blending religious sanction with administrative and military power. Picture a king of Lagash standing in his courtyard, watching artisans craft fine pottery, scribes inscribe clay tablets, and farmers tend their fields. His presence is measured and deliberate, reflecting not only power but also a responsibility to maintain harmony within the city and with neighboring settlements. Kingship is both a duty and a privilege, a quiet force guiding the rhythms of civic life. Occasionally, disputes arise over water rights, land, or trade routes, and these tensions sometimes lead to conflict. Warfare in Sumer is methodical and measured rather than chaotic. Armies are small and disciplined, often composed of men conscripted from the city-state and trained under careful supervision. Chariots, bows, and spears are used with strategic precision. Battles are framed by ritual and ceremony, prayers offered before engagement, and tribute sought afterward. The goal is often the reassertion of order rather than unchecked conquest, reflecting the Sumerians' deep desire for balance and stability. While conflicts occur, Sumerian kings also invest in monumental construction and civic improvement. Walls are reinforced, canals expanded, and temples renovated. Ziggurats rise as tiered steps toward the heavens, symbolizing both spiritual devotion and civic pride. Palaces, built with carefully baked mud bricks, feature courtyards, storage rooms, and administrative offices, providing a hub for governance and planning. The architectural landscape, though grand, is designed to harmonize with the surrounding environment, reflecting a quiet sensitivity to form, function, and aesthetics. Trade flourishes quietly during this period, both within Sumer and with distant lands. Boats laden with pottery, grain, and textiles move along canals and rivers, while caravans carry goods overland. Copper, tin, and lapis lazuli arrive from faraway regions, enriching the cities materially and culturally. Markets are centers of soft activity, with merchants offering wares in calm, measured tones, artisans displaying their craftsmanship, and buyers engaging in gentle negotiation. Even commerce is framed by ritual. Offerings are made to deities for protection and prosperity, weights and measures are carefully observed, and contracts are often recorded in cuneiform to ensure fairness. Daily life within the cities continues with gentle regularity. Farmers rise with the sun, guiding oxen through soft, irrigated fields. Women manage gardens and households, prepare food, and participate in trade or craft production. Children learn the skills they will need in adulthood, from weaving and pottery to record-keeping and ritual practice. Craftsmen work quietly in workshops, shaping bronze tools, carving stone, or creating intricate cylinder seals that serve as both functional objects and tiny works of art. Each person contributes to the slow, deliberate rhythm of urban life, creating a society that is both productive and contemplative. Religion remains a guiding force in both daily life and political affairs. Temples are centers not only of worship but also of administration, education, and culture. Priests maintain records, manage the storage and distribution of grain, and advise kings. Festivals are carefully timed to coincide with agricultural cycles, celestial events, or historical anniversaries. Music, soft and melodic, fills the air during ceremonies, while incense and offerings create a subtle, fragrant atmosphere. Even ordinary acts, lighting a lamp, offering a portion of the harvest, or reciting a prayer, reflect the quiet integration of spirituality into everyday life. Art continues to flourish alongside governance and religion. Sculpture, pottery, jewelry, and textiles convey both practical and aesthetic qualities. Cylinder seals remain essential, each engraved with miniature narratives depicting gods, kings, and scenes of daily life. Walls of homes and public buildings are adorned with low reliefs, depicting animals, processions, or mythological figures. Music and poetry are valued as much as material creations, enriching life with rhythm, narrative, and reflection. These artistic expressions are not grandiose spectacles but quiet, meaningful contributions to the city's cultural fabric. The concept of law evolves during this period, guiding both social behavior and civic organization. Codes, such as those attributed to Ur-Nammu, provide structured guidance on issues of justice, trade, and personal conduct. Laws emphasize fairness, restitution, and communal harmony rather than punishment alone. Imagine a council meeting in a shaded courtyard, elders and officials deliberating over disputes, consulting laws and customs, and ensuring that decisions support both social cohesion and ethical principles. These legal frameworks quietly stabilize life, balancing authority and community with measured care. Education becomes increasingly important as administrative and religious systems grow more complex. Young scribes are trained in temple schools, learning the precise art of cuneiform. They record transactions, laws, hymns, and historical events, preserving knowledge for future generations. Imagine a student pressing a reed stylus into soft clay, each mark deliberate, each line a contribution to the memory of the city. Through this slow, meticulous work, knowledge and culture are transmitted quietly yet enduringly, forming a foundation for all subsequent Sumerian achievements. Sumerian cities also expand their technological capabilities during this era. The wheel, first developed for pottery, is adapted for transportation and trade. Bronze tools improve agriculture and craftsmanship, allowing more refined work with less effort. Canals and levees are maintained and expanded, improving irrigation and protecting against seasonal floods. Even seemingly small innovations, measuring systems, standardized weights, or improved plows, enhance life across the city, demonstrating the quiet power of incremental progress. As night falls over the cities, the pace slows into a gentle cadence. Lamps flicker in homes and temples, casting soft shadows on mud brick walls. Families gather to share meals of bread, porridge, and dates, while children listen to stories of gods and kings. The streets, once filled with activity, hold a tranquil hush, punctuated by the distant murmur of rivers. Ziggurats rise against the starry sky, illuminated faintly by fires, serving as enduring symbols of devotion, order, and human aspiration. In these quiet hours, imagine yourself walking through the streets of Lagash, or Uruk. Feel the smooth mud brick beneath your fingertips, hear the gentle footsteps along narrow lanes, and smell the faint fragrance of baked clay, incense, and grain. Observe the calm precision of scribes at work, the gentle devotion of priests performing evening rituals, and the quiet routines of families preparing for rest. Life in Sumer, though complex, maintains a serene rhythm, reflecting a delicate balance between labor, governance, devotion, and creativity. Even amidst political developments and occasional conflicts, the underlying current of Sumerian life remains one of continuity, innovation, and reflection. Kings rule with measured authority, priests guide spiritual and civic life, and ordinary people sustain the city through daily work, devotion, and artistry. Trade, law, education, and religion flow together in subtle harmony, shaping a society that is resilient, creative, and contemplative. As you drift in your own space, allow the gentle pulse of Sumerian expansion to calm your thoughts. Picture the flowing rivers, the softly lit streets, the towering ziggurats, and the quiet markets. Let the measured rhythm of kingship, trade, worship, and daily life guide you into reflection, carrying you gently toward rest. The cities of Sumer, with their walls, temples, and canals, endure as silent witnesses to human ingenuity, patience, and the quiet persistence of civilization, like a whispered story beneath the stars. As we drift further through the sunlit centuries of Sumerian history, we enter a period of remarkable innovation and quiet cultural flourishing. The plains between the Tigris and Euphrates, fertile and gently undulating, are dotted with cities that hum softly with human activity. Canals shimmer under the morning sun, reflecting the sky as farmers guide oxen through barley and wheat, women tend gardens, and children play along shaded paths. Here, in this serene landscape, Sumerians cultivate not only crops but also knowledge, artistry, and enduring patterns of civilization. Perhaps the most profound Sumerian achievement is the invention of writing. Cuneiform, originating as simple pictographs for tracking grain and livestock, evolves over centuries into a sophisticated system capable of expressing laws, poetry, historical records, and astronomical observations. Imagine the gentle scratching of a reed stylus on soft clay, leaving wedge-shaped impressions that capture human thought for millennia. Through writing, Sumerians preserve the Epic of Gilgamesh, the oldest known story, a meditation on friendship, mortality, and the search for meaning. These texts allow future generations to listen to the whispered reflections of people who lived nearly 6,000 years ago. Mathematics and science flourish in quiet, careful ways. Sumerians develop a base 60 number system, which becomes the foundation for measuring time, angles, and land. Surveyors methodically measure fields for irrigation and property boundaries, while builders calculate dimensions for temples, ziggurats, and palaces. Even seemingly abstract concepts, such as dividing circles into 360 degrees or hours into 60 minutes, emerge from these early observations, bridging practical utility and intellectual curiosity. Each calculation, each careful observation, reflects the thoughtful patience that defines Sumerian learning. Astronomy, closely tied to both practical needs and spiritual understanding, becomes a central pursuit. Priests and scholars observe the night sky, recording the positions of stars, the phases of the moon, and the cycles of planets. These observations inform agricultural calendars, ritual festivals, and religious ceremonies. Imagine standing atop a ziggurat at twilight, gazing at the gentle shimmer of stars above, while the calm murmur of the Euphrates ripples below. In these moments, humans connect to the cosmos, blending the practical rhythms of daily life with contemplation of the heavens. Architecture reflects both practicality and aesthetic refinement. Ziggurats rise tiered and monumental, each level a step toward the heavens, symbolizing devotion and civic pride. Temples serve as centers of worship, education, and administration, while homes are carefully constructed with baked mud brick, featuring shaded courtyards, reed-covered roofs, and storage areas for grain and water. Canals, levees, and granaries demonstrate remarkable engineering insight, balancing irrigation, flood control, and the needs of urban populations. Streets, workshops, and marketplaces are thoughtfully arranged, reflecting a society attentive to order, comfort, and beauty. Art and craftsmanship infuse everyday life with quiet elegance. Cylinder seals, intricately engraved with gods, kings, and animals, serve both functional and artistic purposes. Pottery is molded and painted with delicate designs, while sculptures in stone and clay depict both divine and human forms. Jewelry crafted from gold, silver, and semi-precious stones carries aesthetic and symbolic significance. Music and poetry are interwoven into daily routines and ritual, providing soft accompaniment to both work and worship. Even ordinary objects, textiles, mats, and tools, bear the subtle imprint of creativity and thoughtfulness. Trade expands Sumer's influence across the region. Boats drift along canals and rivers, transporting grain, pottery, and textiles to distant cities. Overland caravans carry copper, tin, and lapis lazuli from mountains and deserts far away. Merchants conduct business with careful precision, recording transactions on clay tablets, observing weights and measures, and offering prayers for prosperity. These trade networks not only supply material wealth but also facilitate the exchange of ideas, techniques, and cultural practices. Through quiet, methodical commerce, Sumerian knowledge ripples outward, touching neighboring regions and leaving a lasting imprint. Education and the transmission of knowledge are central to cultural continuity. Young scribes learn cuneiform in temple schools, copying legal codes, religious texts, and literary works. Apprentices in workshops observe and imitate the skilled hands of artisans, gradually internalizing techniques for pottery, weaving, and tool-making. Education is deliberate, patient, and reflective, emphasizing both technical mastery and moral or religious understanding. Knowledge is valued as a bridge across generations, ensuring that the wisdom and creativity of the past inform the present and future. Religion and mythology deeply influence Sumerian thought and daily practice. Temples serve as both sacred spaces and centers of social organization. Priests manage rituals, festivals, and administrative duties, while ordinary people contribute offerings, observe ceremonies, and seek guidance from the divine. Gods and goddesses, Anu, Enlil, Inanna, and others, are woven into every facet of life, their stories recounted in myths, prayers, and hymns. Festivals are celebrated with music, dance, and feasting, aligning human activity with the rhythms of nature and the heavens. Even the smallest acts of devotion, lighting a lamp, pouring a libation, or reciting a prayer, link daily life to the eternal. Law and governance continue to develop sophisticated structures. Early legal codes, such as the one attributed to Ur-Nammu, emphasize fairness, restitution, and social harmony. Disputes are resolved thoughtfully, with careful consideration of circumstances and communal impact. Kings, priests, and councils work together to maintain order, balancing authority with the well-being of citizens. Law in Sumer is not a rigid tool of punishment but a gentle framework guiding society toward ethical and practical equilibrium. The intellectual and cultural achievements of Sumer extend even to philosophy and reflection. Through stories, hymns, and epics, humans explore the nature of existence, morality, and mortality. The Epic of Gilgamesh, for instance, contemplates friendship, loss, and the desire for immortality, inviting readers and listeners to consider their own place in the world. Such reflections are quietly profound, offering insight without haste or drama, perfectly suited to gentle contemplation. As the centuries progress, Sumerian innovations resonate across neighboring civilizations. Writing, mathematics, law, astronomy, and artistic expression influence Akkadian, Babylonian, and later Mesopotamian cultures. Trade, education, and cultural exchange extend these legacies even further, creating subtle yet enduring ripples of human achievement. Knowledge and creativity, recorded patiently in clay, transmitted through teaching and expressed through art, become the quiet heartbeat of civilization itself. Daily life continues with measured calm. Farmers work fields, artisans craft with care, scribes record the world, and priests maintain ritual and moral guidance. Families gather in homes with shaded courtyards, children play under the watchful eyes of elders, and music and poetry enrich daily routines. Even ordinary labor is imbued with purpose and reflection. Through these gentle rhythms, Sumerian culture persists, not through force or spectacle, but through the steady, deliberate care of countless individuals over generations. Night falls softly over Sumerian cities. Lamps glow in homes and temples, canals reflect the starry sky, and ziggurats rise as silent sentinels of human aspiration. The rivers murmur quietly, the wind rustles reeds along their banks, and the faint sounds of markets and workshops fade into tranquility. It is in this gentle, reflective stillness that Sumer's legacy, its knowledge, its art, its devotion, truly endures. In these quiet hours, allow yourself to imagine walking through the streets of Uruk or Lagash. Feel the baked clay beneath your feet, hear the soft footsteps and murmured conversation of citizens, smell the fragrant incense rising from temples. Observe scribes at work, artisans shaping clay and bronze, priests guiding worshippers, and families tending to their daily routines. The Sumerian world, though ancient, moves with a serene rhythm, a balance of work, devotion, and reflection. Through writing, mathematics, astronomy, art, and law, Sumer leaves a whisper that travels across millennia. Its achievements are subtle yet profound, forming a foundation for civilization itself. The stories, hymns, and epics preserved on clay tablets allow us to glimpse their thoughts, their hopes, and their careful observation of the world. Knowledge flows from one generation to the next, a quiet current carrying wisdom and creativity through time. As sleep draws near, let the gentle rhythms of Sumer, its rivers, fields, workshops, markets, and temples, calm your mind. Allow the soft pulse of daily life, the enduring innovations, and the quiet reflection of its people to cradle your imagination. The civilization of Sumer, though distant in time, whispers gently to us still, a lullaby of human ingenuity, culture, and serene continuity. As we drift into the final centuries of Sumerian civilization, the rivers Tigris and Euphrates continue to shape the fertile plains of southern Mesopotamia. Their waters, slow and steady, mirror the passage of time itself, reflecting not only sunlight and sky but also the soft flow of human history. Imagine walking along a gently winding canal, reeds swaying quietly with the current, as farmers guide oxen through fields of barley and wheat. The air carries the faint scent of wet clay, fresh grain, and the soft smoke of evening hearths. Here, in this delicate balance of nature and human effort, Sumer persists, even as the centuries bring subtle challenges and transitions. The political landscape of late Sumer is complex yet measured. City-states such as Uruk, Lagash, and Eridu maintain their identities, each guided by kings, or lugal, who blend administrative authority with religious sanction. These rulers are both stewards and observers, ensuring harmony among citizens while maintaining the favor of the gods. Imagine a king standing in the terrace of a palace, observing the city from above. Below him, markets hum softly, artisans shape bronze and clay with care, and farmers return along dusty streets from the fields. Even in times of subtle conflict or political maneuvering, daily life continues with calm rhythm, reflecting a society that values order and continuity above chaos. Conflict in this period is measured and often ritualized. While city-states occasionally compete over land, water, or trade routes, warfare is far from constant. Armies are small, trained, and disciplined, and battles are carefully considered affairs rather than spontaneous eruptions of violence. Prayer and ritual accompany military action, reminding leaders and soldiers alike of the divine oversight of their deeds. The goal is often to restore or maintain balance, ensuring that both gods and humans remain content. The Sumerians understand that society flourishes not through unending conquest, but through careful stewardship and measured decision-making. Environmental changes also influence the twilight of Sumer. Generations of irrigation have altered soil composition, increasing salinity in some fields. Farmers, who have long observed nature with quiet attentiveness, adapt with patient adjustments, alternating crops, rotating fields, and refining canal systems. Their intimate knowledge of the land, passed from one generation to the next, reflects the enduring dialogue between humans and nature. Even as environmental pressures mount, the rhythm of work, planting, harvesting, maintaining canals, continues with calm persistence, a testament to resilience and careful planning. Religion remains the enduring center of Sumerian life. Temples and ziggurats continue to dominate cityscapes, serving as places of worship, administration, and education. Priests perform rituals to honor the gods, ensuring that offerings, festivals, and prayers are observed with meticulous care. Soft music fills temple halls, lyres, flutes, and percussion accompanying the gentle cadence of chants and hymns. Incense rises slowly, curling toward the heavens, while the faithful follow ritual procedures established over generations. Festivals, timed to celestial events or seasonal cycles, bring the community together in quiet celebration, reinforcing both spiritual and civic unity. Even in these final centuries, trade extends Sumerian influence far beyond the river plains. Boats drift along canals and rivers, laden with grain, pottery, and textiles, while overland caravans carry copper, tin, and precious stones from distant regions. Markets, though smaller than in their peak, retain a quiet vitality. Merchants arrange wares with care, and buyers engage in measured negotiation. Transactions are recorded in cuneiform, contracts are honored with precision, and offerings to gods accompany even the most ordinary trades. Through these networks, Sumerian knowledge, artistry, and innovation continue to ripple across neighboring lands, leaving traces of civilization that endure for millennia. Daily life maintains a serene rhythm. Farmers rise with dawn to guide oxen and tend fields. Women prepare meals, weave textiles, and maintain gardens. Children play quietly under watchful eyes, learning the skills they will need to sustain the city. Artisans craft pottery, jewelry, and tools with patient hands, and scribes press styluses into soft clay, recording not only economic transactions but also prayers, historical events, and stories. Music accompanies work and ritual alike, providing gentle continuity. In every aspect of life, the ordinary and extraordinary coexist seamlessly, reflecting the enduring Sumerian balance between labor, devotion, and contemplation. Architecture in this period reflects both practical ingenuity and aesthetic care. Homes are sturdy yet modest, built from baked mud brick with shaded courtyards that offer cool retreats from the sun. Ziggurats, towering and tiered, dominate skylines, linking city life with divine aspiration. Temples remain central, with halls for ritual, education, and administration. Canals, levees, granaries, and storage facilities demonstrate careful planning, sustaining both agriculture and commerce. Streets are thoughtfully aligned with the flow of water, homes, and communal spaces. Even minor innovations in design reflect a society attentive to balance, comfort, and harmony. Law continues to provide structure and guidance. Codes, such as those attributed to Namu, emphasize fairness, restitution, and communal stability. Disputes are addressed with careful deliberation, councils convene in quiet courtyards, and priests and officials ensure that rulings reflect both divine and civic expectations. Justice is not imposed harshly but applied thoughtfully, reinforcing social cohesion. Even as city-states face external pressures, these frameworks preserve continuity and order, nurturing a culture that values reflection and measured decision-making. Education and the transmission of knowledge remain essential. Temple schools continue to teach cuneiform, mathematics, astronomy, and administrative skills. Young scribes diligently copy tablets, preserving the records of generations. Apprentices in workshops learn crafts through patient repetition, absorbing both practical techniques and the cultural ethos of Sumer. Knowledge is treated with reverence, ensuring that the wisdom of the past flows forward, quietly shaping future societies. The soft scratching of styluses on clay, the gentle shaping of pottery, and the measured steps of students along temple corridors become enduring symbols of continuity. Even as Sumer's political dominance gradually wanes, its cultural legacy flourishes in silence. Writing, law, literature, mathematics, and artistic expression are absorbed by emerging civilizations, including Akkad and Babylon. Stories, hymns, and historical records travel across regions, influencing societies far removed in time and space. The Epic of Gilgamesh, preserved on clay tablets, continues to inspire reflections on mortality, friendship, and the search for meaning. Through these enduring achievements, Sumer quietly persists, its wisdom and creativity woven into the fabric of human history. Night descends over the cities, bringing a reflective hush. Lamps glow softly in homes and temples, casting warm, flickering light on mud brick walls. Families gather for quiet meals, children listen to the gentle retelling of myths and heroic tales, and the distant murmur of rivers underscores the calm of evening. The ziggurats rise majestically yet serenely against a star-studded sky, monuments to human devotion, ingenuity, and cultural continuity. Even in silence, the presence of Sumer feels alive, a subtle rhythm persisting through the centuries. As you imagine walking through the ancient streets of Lagash, or Uruk, feel the smooth texture of baked clay beneath your feet, hear the gentle cadence of footsteps along quiet streets, and smell the mingling scents of grain, incense, and wet clay. Observe scribes at work, artisans shaping objects, priests performing ritual, and families tending to daily routines. Life in Sumer, though distant in time, carries a gentle vitality, a soft, persistent rhythm that has endured across millennia. Reflection on the twilight of Sumer invites a deep appreciation for patience, observation, and continuity. Its people cultivated knowledge, order, and beauty with deliberate care, observing nature, recording thought, and nurturing culture. Even as cities decline, as political power shifts, and as rivers continue their steady flow, the contributions of Sumer echo through time. Writing, law, mathematics, astronomy, architecture, and literature remain foundational, quietly shaping subsequent civilizations and continuing to inspire reflection and learning. In these quiet moments, imagine the full sweep of Sumerian history, stretching across centuries. The daily labor of farmers and artisans, the guidance of kings and priests, the innovations of scribes, and the devotion of worshippers all converge into a calm, enduring rhythm. Knowledge flows gently, culture accumulates patiently, and life persists in harmony with the rivers, the seasons, and the stars. Sumer's legacy is not abrupt or forceful. It is subtle, persistent, and enduring, much like the soft murmur of the Tigris and Euphrates that once nourished its plains. As sleep approaches, allow yourself to be carried by the quiet pulse of Sumerian civilization. Picture the gently flowing rivers, softly glowing lamps, towering ziggurats, quiet marketplaces, and reflective canals. Feel the presence of generations, the delicate balance of work, devotion, and learning, and the persistent flow of human creativity. Let these images, sounds, and rhythms cradle your imagination, guiding you gently into restful reflection. The story of Sumer, whispered across millennia, is a serene lullaby, a quiet testament to the enduring beauty of human life, thought, and culture. As we drift gently into the later echoes of Sumerian civilization, let us imagine the soft flow of the rivers that cradled its cities, carrying with them not only water but also the enduring currents of knowledge, culture, and human endeavor. The Tigris and Euphrates, timeless and patient, trace their slow paths across the fertile plains, nourishing fields of barley and wheat, guiding canals through sun-baked villages, and reflecting the pale glow of morning and the soft shimmer of evening. These rivers, quiet and persistent, become a fitting metaphor for the legacy of Sumer, whose wisdom and creativity ripple across centuries, touching distant lands and future generations. Sumerian writing, cuneiform, is among the most enduring of these ripples. What began as simple marks to count grain, cattle, and goods gradually transforms into a sophisticated system capable of preserving the full range of human thought. Laws, prayers, astronomical records, contracts, literature, and myth. Imagine a scribe's steady hand pressing a reed stylus into soft clay, creating wedge-shaped impressions that will endure thousands of years. Each tablet is a quiet testament to observation, calculation, and reflection, capturing both the practicalities and the contemplative insights of daily life. Through writing, the Sumerians construct a bridge across time, allowing their experiences and wisdom to flow gently into the future. The laws recorded on clay tablets are another enduring contribution, shaping human communities long after Sumerian city-states fade from prominence. Codes, such as those of Ur-Nammu, emphasize fairness, social cohesion, and restitution rather than harsh punishment. They reflect a thoughtful understanding of human behavior, carefully balancing justice with compassion. Imagine families consulting scribes to resolve disputes over land, water, or trade, guided by legal principles that have been methodically recorded over generations. Even as political power shifts toward Akkad and later Babylon, the Sumerian approach to law quietly informs governance, offering a foundation for social order, ethical reflection, and civic responsibility across the region. Mathematics and science, too, flow like gentle currents from Sumer into subsequent civilizations. The Sumerians develop a base 60 numerical system, which underlies measurements of time, angles, and geometry. Surveyors use careful calculations to delineate fields, plan irrigation canals, and construct monumental architecture. Astronomers observe the movements of stars, planets, and the moon, recording their patterns to guide planting seasons, rituals, and festivals. These quiet intellectual pursuits, rooted in observation and patience, are passed down to later cultures, influencing Babylonian astronomy, mathematics, and even our modern division of hours and minutes. Each calculation, each observation, is like a pebble dropped into a river, sending ripples outward through the ages. Art and literature, preserved in clay, stone, and poetry, carry the essence of Sumerian creativity into future civilizations. Cylinder seals, intricately engraved with scenes of gods, kings, and animals, communicate not only identity and authority but also narrative and symbolism. Sculptures, reliefs, and pottery convey both utility and beauty, expressing human skill and imagination. The Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the earliest known literary works, speaks softly across time, exploring friendship, loss, and the search for immortality. Imagine reading its lines under the quiet light of a lamp, feeling the deep, reflective humanity embedded in its narrative. This literary and artistic legacy flows gently downstream, influencing not only neighboring cultures but also reminding us of the universality of human curiosity and emotion. Trade and economic networks extend these currents even further. Boats and caravans carry grain, pottery, textiles, copper, tin, and lapis lazuli across Mesopotamia and beyond. Every transaction is recorded on clay tablets, every contract carefully maintained. Through these networks, Sumerian knowledge, techniques, and cultural practices quietly infiltrate distant lands. The flow of goods becomes intertwined with the flow of ideas. As merchants and travelers move along rivers and roads, they carry with them glimpses of Sumerian daily life, innovations and artistic sensibilities, allowing the wisdom of one civilization to seed the growth of another. Even religion, with its intricate pantheon and carefully maintained rituals, leaves ripples that extend far beyond Sumer's decline. Temples serve as centers of worship, administration, and education, preserving knowledge about mathematics, astronomy, and writing. Priests perform rituals with meticulous care, aligning them with celestial cycles, seasonal transitions, and the rhythms of life. Gods and goddesses, Anu, Enlil, Inanna, and others, continue to be invoked in prayers and stories by later civilizations. The myths, hymns, and ritual practices of Sumer flow into Akkad, Babylon, and beyond, demonstrating how spiritual and cultural knowledge can endure, quietly shaping human consciousness across centuries. Daily life, though fleeting in comparison to the span of history, also leaves its mark. The careful observation of nature, the patient tending of fields, the deliberate crafting of tools and vessels, the rhythm of marketplaces and workshops, all these small acts accumulate into cultural memory. Families passing down practical skills, children learning crafts and arithmetic, scribes recording events, all contribute to a persistent current of knowledge and habit that shapes future societies. Even in moments of ordinary life, the Sumerians are quietly constructing a legacy that will ripple through time, soft yet enduring. Let us imagine the rivers themselves as carriers of memory. Water flows steadily, touching fields, homes, and cities, linking generations together. The Tigris and Euphrates have witnessed the rise and fall of kings, the dedication of priests, the labor of farmers, and the creativity of artisans. Like these rivers, knowledge flows beyond borders and time, carrying lessons, innovations, and reflections from one culture to another. Just as water nourishes crops and sustains life, so too does the quiet wisdom of Sumer nourish the foundations of civilization. Even as Sumer's cities gradually decline in political dominance, its intellectual and cultural currents remain unbroken. Later empires adopt its script, refine its mathematics, incorporate its law codes, and reimagine its myths. The knowledge and creativity of Sumer are absorbed, adapted, and transmitted forward, a soft but persistent undercurrent shaping human history. Imagine scholars centuries later reading cuneiform tablets, tracing the patterns of numbers, law, and literature, feeling a quiet kinship with the distant hands that first pressed stylus into clay. These whispers of the past, gentle yet enduring, continue to guide, inspire, and inform. In reflecting upon this enduring legacy, we perceive a subtle lesson, that even small, deliberate human actions, recording a transaction, observing the stars, crafting a vessel, teaching a child, can ripple across time, shaping the course of future generations. Sumer teaches us that civilization is not merely built in grand, dramatic moments, but through patient accumulation, careful observation, reflection, and creativity. Each act, each tablet, each canal, each ziggurat contributes to a flowing, persistent current of human endeavor. As night falls over the fertile plains, imagine the rivers reflecting starlight, flowing quietly past the remnants of temples, markets, and homes. Lamps glow softly in courtyards, the murmur of water blends with the distant song of birds and the rustle of reeds, and the soft cadence of Sumerian life, though long past, continues to echo. Knowledge, art, law, and story drift gently downstream, connecting past and present, carrying with them the wisdom of careful, reflective, and patient minds. Allow your imagination to follow the rivers of memory as they flow beyond the boundaries of time. Visualize scribes preserving knowledge, priests guiding ritual, artisans shaping clay and bronze, farmers tending fields, and families observing the cycles of daily life. These quiet, ordinary yet deliberate acts form the enduring current that carries Sumerian wisdom forward, touching lands and cultures far removed from the Tigris and Euphrates. And now, as you lie comfortably, let the image of flowing rivers, softly glowing lamps, and quiet cities lull your thoughts. Feel the gentle pulse of human endeavor stretching across centuries, the serene continuity of culture, and the enduring flow of knowledge. The rivers of Sumer whisper to us still, carrying the soft, persistent echoes of ingenuity, reflection, and creativity. Allow this tranquil current to guide your mind into rest, knowing that the lessons of Sumer continue to ripple softly through time, a calm and enduring lullaby of civilization. Welcome, dear listener, to a journey into the gentle dawn of civilization, a world softly cradled between two quiet rivers. We will travel back nearly 6,000 years to the land of Sumer, where humanity first learned to shape the earth, cultivate crops, build cities, and record thought. Close your eyes and imagine the flat, fertile plains of southern Mesopotamia. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers wind lazily through the land, their calm waters reflecting the pale glow of early morning. Along their banks, reeds sway gently and birds stir softly, announcing the start of a new day. In this tranquil setting, humans begin to settle, leaving behind wandering lifestyles to embrace the rhythms of farming and community. Small villages appear, clusters of modest mud brick homes, their reed-covered roofs absorbing the warmth of the sun. Families work closely together. Women grind grain into flour, children play quietly in shaded courtyards, and men guide oxen through fields of barley and wheat. Livestock wander freely, mingling with villagers in harmonious patterns. The air carries subtle fragrances of wet clay, ripening crops, and smoke from hearth fires, a sensory tapestry that marks the first steps of civilization. Agriculture becomes the quiet heartbeat of Sumerian life. Canals and irrigation channels, carefully dug by patient hands, carry water to fields that would otherwise remain dry. Barley, wheat, and dates flourish under careful attention, while flax and reeds provide material for textiles, mats, and rope. Farmers learn to observe the seasons, the flow of rivers, and the cycles of planting and harvest. Each action is deliberate, blending human effort with the rhythms of nature. It is in this quiet dialogue between humans and the earth that civilization begins to awaken. As villages grow, social structures emerge. Leaders guide labor and resources, priests interpret omens and oversee rituals, and scribes begin to record transactions and events on clay tablets. Religion, governance, and daily life intertwine seamlessly. Communities are small yet organized, their residents learning the delicate art of cooperation. Each role, farmer, artisan, priest, or child, contributes to the subtle order of village life, creating harmony in both work and worship. By 400 BCE, cities like Uruk rise from the plains. Imagine walking along winding streets lined with mud brick homes, markets quietly bustling with pottery, grain, and textiles, and workshops where artisans shape tools and ornaments with patience and care. At the city's heart, the ziggurat of Anu rises like a tiered mountain, a monumental yet serene structure devoted to the gods. From its terraces, priests study the stars, plan festivals, and guide the flow of civic and spiritual life. Even in these earliest cities, a rhythm of life emerges, measured and harmonious, blending the mundane with the divine. Sumerians invent writing to keep track of resources, using a stylus to impress wedge-shaped symbols into clay. Cuneiform, as it is called, becomes a gentle bridge across time, capturing not only trade and law but also myths, prayers, and poetry. Through writing, the people of Sumer begin to reflect on their world, leaving whispers of their thoughts, fears, and aspirations for generations to come. In this exploration we will drift through centuries of Sumerian life, the rise of kings and city-states, the interplay of religion and governance, the flowering of art, music, and literature, and the quiet persistence of human innovation. We will observe canals and fields, markets and temples, homes and workshops, allowing the gentle cadence of Sumerian civilization to lull the mind while enriching understanding. Through soft reflection, let us enter a world where humanity first learned to shape not only the earth but also the enduring patterns of culture, knowledge, and connection.